Well, it's that time again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the interview with Craig Veltri.
Thank you, Megan Pennington, and welcome to the interview. As of the drop of this episode, Inside the Cabin, the debut album from Moonshine Vagabonds, my duo project with Megan Pennington, is available now on all streaming. This album is the culmination of 5 years of friendship, 4 years of business partnership, two almost simultaneous breakups, and a year of writing and production. I bet you thought I was going to say something about a partridge in a pear tree, but you were wrong. This special edition of the craig-veltri interview will go deep inside the cabin with myself and the two people essential to the curation of this 8-song collection. Recording in Pittsburgh, I'll first introduce the most frequently recurring guest on this podcast, not merely for the fact she started Scarfire Media and is technically my boss, but a person I'm proud to call my best friend and partner in Moonshine Vagabonds. Calling in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Megan Pennington. Mama Meg, welcome back to the interview.
It's so good to be back, and it's so good to be back for something other than the stinky old year in review.
Hey. By the way, tick, tick, tick. See you again in 8 months. Oh, better still,
Yeah,
see you again
yeah.
in a couple of weeks for the State of the Podcast episode coming up third week of May. And returning to the podcast is a man that I've enjoyed not merely the collaboration between, but simply to be in his company. He appeared on this program back in July to discuss my single Saving Up Dreams. His guidance behind the board on that song not only gained my trust and enthusiasm to want him on Inside the Cabin, but served as a warning shot for what was to come. Calling in from Nashville, Tennessee, founder of Spade Creative and producer of Inside the Cabin, Dallas Jack. Dallas, welcome back to the interview.
What's up, man? Those are very kind words to say. I'm grateful to be here.
They were well earned. And as we sit here with a week of this song currently on Bandcamp exclusively, the rollout just happened as this episode is airing. I think Megan and I, the most used word that we have had with this album coming out. Megan's used the word hopeful a lot. I've used the word excited. When you listen to this record, Dallas, what word comes to mind in re-listening to this all this time? Because you've listened to it more than us.
I would probably reiterate excited. I think the thing that I've said the most to people when they've asked me, like, "Wait, what are you working on right now?" and I've been telling them about this project, was that it's very rare as a producer that you feel so well equipped by the artist to be able to do your best work. And this was definitely that scenario, which was very rewarding to get to be a part of.
Well, I mean, I think Megan and I are very like-minded in many different ways. I think to the beat, we almost kind of knew what we were going to be doing when we got to the studio. In fact, I'll turn to you on this one, Megan. You of all 8 songs, which ones would you say? I think would you say all of them pretty much are the same as you heard in your head as you walked into the studio?
Um, no, actually, there's a few things that ended up becoming better than I had originally anticipated. A great example of that would be the song "We're Through." I kind of wrote that with you. That was the first of the new wave of songs we started to write after we got into the Inside the Cabin idea. And I didn't really know what I was expecting. I kind of was hearing more of like a very like cut from the cloth of like George Jones, like very old 70s kind of the country ballad, and it became more of this like almost this like this Americana country bluegrass dance around that kind of calls back to like Alison Krauss. It's way larger than I was expecting. While it has a much more like simplistic production, it sounds better than what I had originally anticipated. The other one I could say about would be Hold On for Someday, because I really didn't know what to expect with that one when you
Neither
brought me
did
the
I.
acoustic version, and
I'll tell him
it
myself.
blossomed.
So,
Yeah,
well,
and I think that one really blossomed to something that I like I said, I didn't know what it was going to be, but it's that's the one I've listened to the most on the album.
Me too. In fact, it's the one that I've been getting the most feedback on. When when you said Dallas, the you kind of had felt that we kind of had everything fleshed out, but now as we've revealed, we were kind of just changing stuff on the fly, and there were a lot of songs. We're through. You'd mentioned that most of the input, the stuff that you've done prior to us coming to you was mostly pop stuff, if I remember correct. And of course, you had your time on Music Row, as well. What would you say was probably more? Was there a challenge in the stuff that we were bringing to you?
No, actually, so I very rarely ever touch pop. So for me, I'm almost entirely rock and country.
Okay.
So the Music Row stuff that I've done has all
Your
been
association
country.
with one Danny Felt kind of threw me on it.
Yeah, I
The
refer the
ultimate
pop
felt
stuff other
fine.
places. Yeah, no, it's and on top of that too, I would say the compliment to you is beyond just being fleshed out. It's not that you guys came in with the ideas already in place because like you were saying, Megan, there were a lot of things that I got in and I was like, all right, let's rework this. Let's think about it this way. Let's try these things out. But I think it was more so that you guys came in with a solid understanding of things that you had already battle tested. You had taken these songs on the road already. You had worked them. You had seen them with crowds. You saw what people liked. You saw what they disliked. And so when we got into the studio, every one of these songs already sounded killer because you had already gone through the rewrites. You had gone through the process of seeing what do these people like, what do they not like. And you got in, and then it was, okay, you gave me your best work. Everything was able to just be easy, drop into the rig and be able to start building out the tracks. But beyond that, then I was able to be like, okay, they're able to give me their time, they're able to give me their best work. That makes it so that I'm able to bring my best work to the table. And we've been working on this since what was it, early December when we first started on it. And so we took some time with it where we were able to let it simmer and let it cook a little bit and let it be able to be built into the thing that we were able to create. So I'm very proud of what we did.
You bring it up. Does this happen often for you, or is it people often bringing in just the rough draft a lot of the time?
Typically, producer ends up being very in the rough draft phase. So an artist will come in, and maybe the artist doesn't even play an instrument. They might just be the songwriter, and I might be building the chords with them, and we're kind of building the whole concept together. It's rare that an artist is actually out touring with the song and has done, like what I said, battle tested the song already, gone and taken it to market and really seen what do people actually like, what do they dislike, how is it received by the crowd. You guys being always on the road the way you guys are, like you were able to get that actual feedback where most artists get that after the song's already released.
I can't think of any song in my catalog that I've done over the years and anything that I've done in my discography, and forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn, Megan, is there a song that you basically just walked into the studio one day in the middle of a recording session and just said, okay, we're going to add this song into this one as well?
Yes, actually, and I'm so happy that I finally get to talk about this on the air because I've never been asked this question before. It's not a song that I wrote, actually. It was one that Tyler had written. If you remember Millville Blues,
Yeah.
back when Moonshine Jasmine was a three-piece acoustic band, here's some deep history for my journey. This is why Moonshine Jasmine version one actually started to break up. It was me, Tyler, and Dan Stonerook, and we were in the studio at very tight, and we were supposed to record one of Dan's songs. I don't remember which one he had lined up, but it was a 2-day recording session. The first day we were there, Dan gets a call. He lived out in Altoona, so that's a 2-hour drive from Pittsburgh, to give you an idea for those who aren't from the area. So he's in Pittsburgh. He has to drive 2 hours back to Altoona to go
Right.
deal with the work stuff, and he's all types upset. And there was already some like unspoken drama happening with the band that I don't want to put on air and talk about.
I
But
know the
anyway,
story. I'll spare you. So
right. So he left, and me and Tyler were kind of like, what do we do now? Because we still have room for an extra song. We already paid for this amount of songs. And he had written Millville Blues and was kind of just playing it and kicking it around, playing it at our shows as filler. And I looked at him, I'm like, why don't we record it? If at the very least, we'll record it. If he comes back, we'll delete it and we won't even use it. Well, Dan was gone literally long enough for us to do everything except for me sitting down with the rhythm guitar because I did the electric rhythm on that track. And when he walked in the studio, he heard the song I was working on. He saw me playing it. He threw a bundle of cash at me, said, "Pay whoever you have to pay. I'm leaving." And he quit the band that day.
Hmm.
So that's why Millville Blues got recorded.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
I'll say this: having heard Millville Blues. That's one of those things where the story behind the song is actually better than the song. Sorry, Tyler. We're here with Megan Pennington and Dallas Jack here on the special edition of the Craig-Veltri interview, the Inside the Cabin release episode on Scarfire Media Podcast Network. Check out scarfiremedia.com, the brand new scarfiremedia.com. Check out all the great podcasts on the Scarfire Media Podcast Network, the Cool Brother Podcast with Malik Long, Emmy Susani's brand new podcast, Mommy Rockstar, coming any day now. And thank you for listening to the Craig-Veltri interview. Let's talk about the album proper and maybe go by it track by track, maybe drop around depending on how the stories are told. And we begin with Inside the Cabin. And I think what I love about the song and what I love about what came out on the record, not merely that it is heavy, but it really does split a bit of a difference while still maintaining such a heavy edge. I begin by asking this to Megan, because it was actually a riff that we nearly threw away because I completely missed the mark as far as what she was looking for in a song called "Scratching at My Green."
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we were writing a song. What was it? A song with pool references,
Yes.
like dive bar, smoky pool references. And
You wanted
yeah,
Muddy
because we were.
Waters, and I wound up with, I don't even know what we wound up with, but it's heavy.
Yeah, I was looking to try to do something real bluesy because you wanted to do some more bluesy stuff, and I was like, well, why don't we do something Muddy Waters? We're concerned about that. And I remember sitting up at the park in Butler, and like I thought for sure that was gonna be gone. We were gonna come up with something else. Then you turn around, come back with Inside the Cabin. I'm like, oh, that's what we needed. I like that. So I'm really glad that it's coming to be. And I think it's funny that particular song we ended up writing each other's verses.
Yes. We if you when you listen to the song, if you haven't already, we had I had written a verse that the song itself was about one business partner that went astray. And then after Megan's the business partners and the romantic partner were one and the same, and hers was also built his own cabin, let's just call it that. And eventually we just I had written a verse to my partner, Megan also wrote it to the partner, and we sang each other's verses, and we realized, oh, you know what, we need to be singing the other one because it needs to be directed to the appropriate address. Now, we talked here a second ago, Dallas, about just how we kind of split the difference in sound, and a lot of the reason we decided to go heavy, well, two words for you: dive bomb. What made you think, okay, this is what that needs?
I mean, we certainly put a dive bomb in it.
That was my fault.
That was her
my
fault.
I don't remember being recalled of that one.
You said something to me when we were tracking guitars for that one that I thought was hilarious, which was I don't know if you even remember this, Craig, when you said this, but you were like, I want you to play a solo that makes your guitar teacher proud.
I don't remember saying that.
And I ended up sending the song once it was finished to my guitar teacher, and I was like, what do you think of this?
And what did they say?
He was quite proud.
As a guitar teacher, I'm very proud too.
Oh God, I'm getting a little teary on this one. Well, so we moved from a decidedly rock song onto "It Wasn't Love," that definitely has one toe, I think, in Tom Petty and the other in Brooks and Dunn. I'll start with you on this one, Dallas, because I remember you asking me, what, and I remember saying it was kind of a Brooks and Dunn motif because I think you were having trouble putting your finger on what direction sonically we were going. Is that what you were asking for?
I think with all songs where I start, no matter what, is I think we've had this conversation. The way I look at things is the reason I'm brought into the room is because you guys value my opinion and you want me to say my opinion. But at the end of the day, you are the actual CEO, and so I want to understand what it is that is your vision, and I don't want to force my vision onto it. Whenever I say that to an artist, I usually have in my head what I think it probably should be. But before I say it, I want to figure out, all right, what is it that they think it should be? And let's see if it aligns or if we need to figure out some middle ground kind of thing.
Let me bet, and maybe you answered this already, but how close to what you were thinking to what we were thinking? How much did that align on this song, maybe in particular, but maybe the entire record as well?
So when we first started the record, I was looking at the old Craig-Veltri tracks, and I was like, he's wanting to do something that's kind of a little country, maybe some Americana influences, maybe these kinds of things. And then you came in with Inside the Cabin. And I was like, what the heck is this guy doing?
Hi.
Like, what
Me
is
again.
this?
I
This
think
stuff rocks.
maybe a lot of people don't know this about me, and for good reason. But the first band that I was ever in was a prog rock band. It was back in like 2006. So,
Blew my mind too, Dallas. Don't feel bad.
so, the my favorite band's Van Halen, and I mean, I don't think I've ever strayed too far from it. But the stuff that you were listening to, I was going through a divorce and listening to a lot of Lyle Lovett, and before that, I was in Nashville trying to get on a decidedly country track. But I mean, look at this hair. I mean, I got to rock at some point. So, but we turn back to and before we do move on to a much more country song. This I do want to say that it wasn't love. This Megan and I, we finished writing this song. We dug out a couple of songs to finish this. And I think, if you can remember that day, Megan, that we wrote this song, I don't know whose idea it was to say, we just got to do a whole record. But I do remember somebody said that there's going to be an album off the back of this.
So you would say
That was
actually it wasn't love was the reason that you guys decided to do the record?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I'm just trying to assign the credit properly.
that was all you. Because honestly, I've said it before on different interviews, and I'll say it again. I would not be able to be sitting on this call doing the things that I'm doing if it weren't for the involvement that you had in my life after everything happened with Tyler. So that was a point in my life where, like, yeah, we were kind of talking about doing some stuff, but like nothing came of it. And like you were actively trying to stay on my ass and make sure that I was doing the good things I needed to be doing to keep my mind in a place where I needed it to be, to keep going and keep being there for my kids. And not only did you help me with that leaps and bounds, but like your push to do the album, your push to make me, come out of that part of myself. Like I'm very, very thankful, and I'm very, very willing to give you all of the credit for this project because this project saved my life. Yet
Well,
again, here you come being a superhero.
oh, no. I well, we've said it in interviews already. Moving on to because I really, for that song, it wasn't love. I came to you because I needed to sort through the breakup I was going through, and We're Through was Return of the Favor. The scenario just sounded like a country song, and when I stepped into that apartment that you were staying at and said, "Well, Megan, it's time for therapy," I couldn't have imagined. And I would say that I try not to have favorites when it comes to my songs. Biloxi was my favorite, and it betrayed me. But I will say that We're Through, just for the story that it told, and for what we literally shined crap and made into such a beautiful song. It is the one that I am the proudest of, and I would just it's been a year since everything happened, and it's been a year since that song has been written. I don't really know how to find a question at the end of this, but listening to that song a year to the moment, listening it back to you, how do you feel about it? How does it hit you?
Man, if I may get on my soapbox here a moment.
It's your
I
network.
I'd like I yes it is. I'd just like to start off by saying, first and foremost, for the listeners out there who have been wondering, who've been trying to keep track of my very strange and long journey, first and foremost, life is pretty damn good these days. And I'm very thankful to be able to say that because of projects like Inside the Cabin, because of Dallas and Craig and a bunch of other really good people in my life. But that song has probably been the largest coming of age moment, I think, for myself. It's the best way I could put it.
Hmm.
Not only did I kind of, I allowed myself to heal through the trauma and the pain of what happened. But as time went on and I dealt with my own thoughts and I went through my own therapy and all of that deep thinking you do when you go through big things, it made me realize that like there is a level of forgiveness that I can feel from that, towards that situation and towards the people involved. But there's also a level of growing and a level of pride that I have in myself because I have always been kind of an overdramatic young lady, and I didn't think I'd make
Oh,
it out alive. I know, right? I didn't think I'd make it out alive, and the fact that I've got a song to show for it, not only a song that's really good, but going back to making our guitar teachers proud, I showed that song to my grandfather, the one who is the direct inspiration for me singing, and I said, "Look, pup, I finally have a country song," and he smiled and he said, "It's good." So not only did I make myself proud by finally putting myself on a country track, but I finally made Pup proud. So the little girl in me was healed, the adult in me was healed, and the song nowadays, I do have to laugh a little bit because like the co-parenting thing is happening now, so I don't
Mhm.
like hate him and not talk to him. So it is kind of funny, like in an ironic sense. Um, but I'm very proud that I was able to work through that moment in such a beautiful way.
And hearing all of that, Dallas, and I think we heard, I gave you versions of this because here's the other thing about this record. I think I did. I think we stretched all of this record out. I think over 8 to 10 sessions. You and I coming
yeah, that
in.
sounds about right. Yeah,
Megan came in only on one, so I
one
I had
day.
so I had she is a machine, and I
Long day.
it was a very long
It was
day.
a fun
It was a
day.
fun day. It was a long day.
But
Well, then
I
you
slept so good
drove
on that
back that
bus.
night. You drove back that night, right?
No, I ended up catching a Greyhound that night. I rode the bus back, and that wasn't bad, except for
two
the
in the
fact that
morning.
some idiot on the bus stole my vape out of my pocket while I was sleeping. I was like, how did I get pickpocket on a Greyhound? I was so mad.
That will be another song. But having just knowing the stories that I was explaining, and just the vibe, that song in particular, uh there was no other way to do it but to do it's in 3/4, it's a waltz, it's a country song. So was it that easy for you, being I mean, you got your training in Nashville, so I would assume that this was, soft pitch home run for you as far as what to do.
Yeah, that was a fun one. And shout out to Wanda Vic on that as well. I think
Yes.
there's something about a steel guitar
It's a
that
doper.
brings that was a dobro we brought on. Okay, something about that just it just sings. It just there's something about the classic country sound. I would say that one is the one that diverts the most from the whole album, and that was interesting in the mixing side too. When I was building that out, because for instance, like throughout the whole record, we're running rock drums on the whole thing, but then that one, it's like, oh, if we're doing a classic country, we got to change up the whole package. How do we make it so it's still cohesive with the record? And that was a really fun way because there's the Nashville sound that we go for, but the Nashville sound isn't a rock sound. And so I feel like we started with the Nashville sound as our baseline, but then once it came to the mix, took the Nashville sound and was then like, all right, let's add a little bit of beef to it. Let's throw some rock into it a little bit, but not too much where we aren't diverting. We're doing a variation of it. And that was a really fun element to get to like mess around with that song.
To me, the album diverted the most on track 4 and Holding On for a Someday, and that was by design. I don't think I've really ever told the story of how I came to start this song, but I was on an elliptical just listening to music and still kind of working through my breakup, and I'll Be All Right Without You by Journey comes on my playlist. And it's the video mix. They did a live video for their music video. And at the end they did a breakdown, excuse me, and it went something like, "Someday, baby, maybe your heart will be mine." And I'm feeling a little bit cynical and rolling my eyes at the notion of someday. But I started writing that. I wrote that chorus right there on that elliptical, and I did a verse. Megan did another verse, and we kind of brought it together. And really, we stick it in the middle of this record after 2, 3 really strong breakup songs. And I think what the feedback that I'm feeling from people, not merely the blast of harmony, not merely the strong vocal delivery, even me singing alone, it shuts up a noisy bar room, which is so cool to do with the song. But it's a hopeful track in an otherwise would be an album that might have been called, and we joked Dallas a couple times about changing the name of the album to Mileage and Heartbreak. I turned to Megan on this one. When you heard this, and was that ultimately why you said, okay, this is a Moonshine Vagabonds song?
Well, honestly, like with Hold On for a Someday, I almost told you to throw it out, to be honest, because I
Yeah.
liked it, but I didn't know if I wanted to put it on the album. I honestly, I kind of was gearing up for that to be our next project after this. But once we started to flesh it out, like I think I remember saying something along the lines to you, like, I don't know if I love it yet. Give me a minute. And I'm glad I gave you a minute.
Why don't you write a verse?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you ended up, keeping with it, because like I said, it's the one I listen to the most on the album. And if I may call out for a moment, having Holding On for Someday at that point in the record, because I'm a bit of a story nerd. I'm a big fan of The Wall, for example. I love how we did that, because like Holding On for Someday is like, all right, we're done being sad. Now we're gonna go have some fun. And I love that. So good job on the order. But yeah,
Completely unintentional, but I did kind of just throw it in there to kind of, again, just break up the breakup songs, and then eventually we can start talking about driving and other fun things that we like to do. But this also, I think, on this this one, I think, has the most moving parts to it. It's got a horn section, it's got a guitar solo, it's got those harmonies. Was it more fun? Was it fun or frustrating on your end, Dallas, with this one?
This was the most challenging mix of the whole record.
I bet.
Not to be nerdy, but it's because of the masking. There's so many different elements that are on top of each other at the same time, and putting them all in their places on the frequency spectrum, along with the panning, putting them in the different areas, the horn section slightly off to the side, those kinds of things, so it's not overlapping across all of them. Very difficult. That one definitely took the most time, but I think compliments to you on the songwriting side of it too. Is I think this is the key to why you said it shuts up a noisy bar, is the nostalgia. And I think there's something about the mix of the melody and the lyricism to it that it makes you kind of sit back in your chair and be like, oh, I remember a different era for a second there. It takes you back, and it's a nostalgia piece in a way that I truly love.
So Megan said that this was me driving the record. I was the muscle on it, but I would say if I were to listen to this record, it definitely feels to me like a later era Brooks and Dunn, where it was plainly obvious to anybody that Ronnie Dunn was the talent in the band, was the voice of the band, and the one that everybody was featuring. And side B on this record is Golden Highways, a song that I co-wrote with C4. Megan, I don't think has a gymnastics background. I swear to you, she was about ready to do a backflip when she first heard the song. She's getting giddy about it. Why do you love this song so much, Meg?
Because first of all, this is the first time you get to hear country rock and it's talking about LGBT stuff, and that's amazing. And I love that I get to be part of the movement for that. When you were like, we're gonna keep that line running from a jealous man and his wife in the Palisades, I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy I get to sing that line. It's so silly. But like I love that. You don't get that much representation for that stuff in the type of music that we make nowadays. So it's awesome. But more importantly, that's the roughest song I've ever gotten to sing. And everybody's been telling me literally another piece of history for me. I was 19 in New Jersey at Mad Hands Records recording free. It was my first time ever in a recording session. And I went to go sing the line, what is it? I don't remember exactly what line it was because I can never remember my own songs. Go figure. But I did the grr on accident. Real subtle on accident. It was a mistake. I'm like, oh, I gotta fix this because they were already getting on me trying to make me do the thing over because it wasn't always a one take tracker. I used to take a long time. And so when I did that, I saw Mike and Ray kind of sit back and they were like, oh my God, do that again. So flash forward, it's become my whole shtick. But every time I go to try to do something on a song, either the producer does something that doesn't quite like match what I'm doing, or the band that I'm working with isn't quite where I want to be. So like this was finally like I didn't write this song, and I was really upset about wanting to sing somebody else's song because I've always been kind of a stick in my own butt about that. But I've eaten both my shoes, both my socks, and my backpack because this song's amazing. Shout out C4. Thank you for letting me sing this. It's so much fun. I sing it in the car because it's so much fun.
On the opposite coin, was this the easiest one for you to mix, Dallas?
Oh,
I think it was.
Hope, it was
I think
easy
it
for me.
was. If I was gonna pick, yeah, Golden Highways was the easiest one. That one just fell together, and it was just like even the instrumentation and production around it was just like, don't overcomplicate it. It needs to be what it is, and just drop that thing in and get her done.
Yeah.
Janice without the habits, and I think this song is most emblematic of it. Let's skip ahead to Tango Takes Two, and I think the reason that it finds itself, while it is a breakup song, and it is, I didn't want it to be like in a row. Megan is kind of is doing the comme si comme ça kind of motion.
It's not a breakup song if you listen to it. It's a song about adultery and all sorts of bad things, but it's not a true story.
Okay. well, you're chasing booze, and I'm rather be happy. Forgive me if I thought that where things were going with that one, but it's
You're just mad because I'm doing it my way. Sorry.
Exactly. I hate it when you use your lyrics against me. So why ultimately I think we agreed that it would be that'd be good on the back end of the record is because it is the epitome of, I love it when beautiful melodies tell me horrible things. That's a Tom Waits quote. And it's certainly not a Tom Waits sounding song. It is fun, it is bouncy, and it is just bawdy as anything as I can get. And you've already alluded to some of the subject matter of this song. Obviously you wanted to tell the story, but ultimately why did you decide on this boogie, shall we say?
Well, I was trying to be as petty as possible, frankly. I was mad. I got done being sad about everything, and I was mad, and I didn't want to get myself in any sort of legal trouble. So I wrote a really mean song about it. And I made up a bunch of exaggerated lies within my really mean song because the hope was at that point in time when I was very angry that someday, because originally this was supposed to be a Moonshine Jasmine song. I was going to record this with my other band. And I was hoping that the defendant, if you will, would hear some version of this song in his own time and kind of be like, oh, that motherfucker. And sure enough, I got mine. That happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this
that's what that was for. It was just a feel like a make myself feel better, get the angry feelings out type of song.
this is the only song that is Megan Pennington written at words and music by Megan Pennington. And a lot of the reason I wanted it on there, because not only did it really kind of fit the motif, it fell into the same timeline of both of our breakups. It is just a fun song to sing and fun song to play. But to bookend the rest of the record, and this is where we have our other feature performance. Shout out to Matt Wagner for doing drums throughout the record, but this is where we find my friend Luke Sharp of the Goofy Footers, a great band out of Myrtle Beach, who pretty serendipitously was just in town in Nashville. He's a harmonica player, and we figured that both of these songs, they're both about being on the highway. We needed somebody to pull out a harpoon out of their blue bandana, and there he was, brought his mom along too. And that was one of the more memorable days, just because not only is he such a warm, consummate musician, but in mixing him into our songs, and we'll talk about the songs themselves in a second, and maybe the similarities as well. But just, I mean, how immediate were we in that booth, Dallas, listening and say, yeah, we need a harmonica on these two.
It was pretty quick. Harmonica is such an interesting instrument because it takes over a mix. It takes over the whole sound of the song. When a harmonica is going on, it's hard to have other things going on at the same time. You can't really have another lead instrument going on. And I think that was the biggest challenge with that song. It was like, all right, we've got the harmonica in here. This thing sounds great. How do we supplement everything else around it? How do we build out the track around it and make everything else sound correct with it? Because it was like it was pretty early on that we were like, can we get a harmonica? And you texted your buddy, and you're like, I think we can. And the timing of that was nuts. And shout out to his mom too. She was wonderful.
I'll start with the song that ends the record, and then talk about the song that really began our songwriting partnership. "Keep Me by the Highway" was actually going to be a Moonshine Jasmine song. I was trying to write that song with Tyler, the former bass player, and her now ex-husband. And I always saw them as kind of what Megan and I eventually became. They were kind of the banter in between. He was kind of the comic relief during the show, and he had a song on the previous record. He liked Waylon Jennings, and I kind of thought and I immediately I started thinking, okay, well, they're travelers, I'm travelers too, and the line almost came out in Waylon's voice. "Keep me by the highway, and I'll be ready to go." So, and I had that first verse for a while, and it was becoming apparent that I wanted Tyler to write it with me, and he had no interest in doing so. So eventually I was just like, screw it, I'll keep it in my back pocket. And once his dramatic exit from Moonshine Jasmine happened, I was like, hey, Meg, I got the song. I had you in mind for it. And it is, I have, on a technical level, I love doing Holding On for a Someday. But of all the songs that we've been doing together, Keep Me by the Highway, just the back and forth, the crowd, it's a great sing along. The crowd seems to love it. And Megan's smiling and nodding. What do you love about the song? Why did you ultimately say, yes, let's do this?
It's so fun. It's like, so like we're travelers, and we've both been traveling in very different avenues for a very long time. And on some of my travel took me to, the deep world of the counterculture. I've been to many hippie festivals. I've been to places that people would argue is a cult or not. No? So I've seen that side of the road, and that side of the road has a lot of time where you got nothing better to do but start a fire, get to know the people that you've traveled to the land with. You're making music, the kids are dancing, there's people spinning fire, the hoops are going, the moon's going, we're howling at the moon. Like that happens. And like Keep Me by the Highway is like the showered up, clean clothes version of living that lifestyle. And I just love that we can take that around the country and get people shower or not, hippie or not, like we're all that's like a bring the community together moment because it's just so catchy that everybody's just like, yeah, let's go. Let's take a ride, man. I love it. I love it.
And we we conclude the album listing where we began, and we've been sitting on I'm Driving for quite some time, and we've been playing this thing off and on for about 5 years. This so long ago at this point, I was drinking at the time, and so it's a and you talk about all the traveling thing. That's kind of what I zeroed in on in that particular writing session that we had in common. We didn't have a name for us yet, but I was already calling myself the Vagabond, and we were so eventually we zeroed in. And though you do get co-writing credit on that, I think you've actually called me out on stage a couple of times. It's like, I didn't write a word of this song.
And no, I did not. And I'm going to tell your fans exactly how I did not get over to that song because you came to my house. You came over to the very first installation of Scarfire, sat in my office, and said, "All right, Pennington, it's time to write a song." I was like, "All right, let's do it." And I watched you. I watched you write. I watched you write as you asked me questions. And if you asked me questions, you didn't write down what I put down, including the question, "Hey, give me any city in the world." And I said, "Canton, Ohio." And you looked at me dead in my soul cases and said, "Okay, Nashville, Tennessee it is." So that was the first time I ever got to watch Craig write a song. That was a really cool experience.
You were in the room, you get credit for it. And by the way, I mean, we're trying to write a song about where dreams go and where the dreamers go. And you go to Canton, Ohio to watch the end of
You didn't
Dreams.
start with that. The first thing you said was, "Give me any city in the world." You didn't tell me what we were writing about. So I just said Canton because I was there recently.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'll be in Canton on April 10th. Don't shoot me for saying anything that could be perceived as disparaging. But just as far as the blend on all the just as far as blending our vocals and on all these duets, we pretty much we pretty much came in well prepared on all of the all the mixing of it. I don't want you. You've already ranked the worst or the most frustrating or the most difficult mixes that you have done. Were our harmonies at any point one of the more frustrating things that you had to deal with, or was that ultimately painless?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we ran about 3 takes on every one of your songs. It was pretty straightforward, and I would just sitting in here like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a breeze. And I mean, I don't think I had to time align a single song.
That's a pretty
dang flawless.
Explain to a layman what timelining a song
when you have people that are harmonizing with each other, or even if you're harmonizing with yourself, we use certain programs to make it so that you sound perfectly in time, an inhuman level of in time. And I don't believe I had to do that on anything on this record. Pretty much you guys have just practiced it so many times on the road, battle tested this thing to the point where it was just like, yeah, they got it covered. We're good.
The songs were battle tested, and so were its singers. And now the record's in the can. Now there's nothing really more to just do. Just to do the exit. And Dallas, give me 3 words to describe the record or your experience of producing this record.
The record or my experience of producing this record. This was exciting. This was refreshing. And this was really, really, really fun.
I think we can echo the sentiments. We'll get to the shameless promotion thereof of said record in just a moment. But we have a nice way of closing here on the Craig-Veltri interview, Dallas. It's called the No Kidding Questionnaire, a couple of rapid fire questions. But since you were back on this show back in July, you get the new and improved, battle tested, if you will, Craig-Veltri No Kidding Questionnaire 2.0. Dallas Jack, what sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise do I love? Oh, I've never thought about that. Of all
and
sounds.
You're around sound all the time.
I'm around sounds constantly. Aren't all of us?
You at a micro level.
Oh, just like a sound that you're like, oh, that's just it's like a satisfying sound kind of thing. Maybe something like a click of a seatbelt or something like that. For some reason, that's coming to mind. Is something that's just like, oh, it's just like a something that just like clicks or
You're
something.
about to
I don't
go
know.
somewhere.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
What sound or noise do you hate?
What sound or noise do I hate? An out-of-tune guitar.
Yes.
There is a reason my Wi-Fi in this studio is literally just called "Tune Your Guitar" with a smiley face. It reminds the artist when they go, "Hey, can I get the password for the Wi-Fi?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. What's it? Which one is it? Oh, it's "Tune Your Guitar." And then they're like, "Oh, I probably should."
It's passive aggressive and effective. What is the one song that you are not yet tired of playing, singing, or listening to, and it can't be something that you've worked on?
Oh, absolutely. Marianas Trench's Ever After album. Pick any song on it. I will never get tired of that record or that band. They are my absolute favorite.
Meg mentioned this a couple of times. I have yet to get around to it. Shame on me, and I'll be rocking it at the gym later, I promise. If reincarnation is real, what animal or organism do you hope to come back as?
Hope to come back as? Oh. That's a trickier question. I feel like there's some like teacup poodles out here that are getting really pampered, and it'd be nice to get reincarnated as something that gets pampered. I've seen enough war in this life that I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to get a break.
I have so many things I can say to that, all of them wrong. What is your favorite food to make at home?
Favorite food to make at home?
Because I have watched this man cook, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a tricky one because I enjoy a lot of dishes. I enjoy smoking meats, but I also like, if I'm gonna just pick a singular dish that I just love, I'm probably gonna go with a panini. I can make an amazing panini. You do something like a pesto spread on it, compound butter, and oven roasted ham or something like that, or some turkey. I was saying I love smoking meats. Sometimes I'll buy a whole turkey and smoke it and stuff, and then use that in the sandwiches and different things. And then the garlic and tomatoes, you roast them together in a little olive oil, and then you do the sandwich in that at the same time. Dude, hard to beat.
Follow Dallas Jack on all social media if you want to blow up your diet.
Check out my recipes.
Can I come over?
Yeah, come over anytime.
Dallas Jack, what is your favorite curse word?
Ooh, my favorite curse word. I don't know.
You've used several.
Favorite curse word.
It's really bad that when you ask me that, I can be like on the money. Like, I don't like that.
This is actually a question
long.
lifted directly from James Lipton's end of the Inside the Actor Studio questionnaire. He even said, "Women, filthy, filthy, filthy. Men." Why should I say this? Case in point. So favorite curse word, Dallas.
Hard to pick. I don't know that I can pick. There's such a plethora of amazing words in the English language, and I'm still learning English at this point. So I would say the French ones are more fun.
I took French for 7 years. I mean the worst I ever got to was zut alors, but that's about it.
Whenever they say "pardon my French," I've been told that that's not actually French.
An inaction for sure. All right. Last question of this questionnaire, Dallas. If you were given the choice between starting life with your current knowledge again at the age of 6 or $10 million, which one would you take?
Oh, just screw the $10 million. I'd go back to 6.
Mm, yeah. I screw the 10 million. Explain.
Um, I think money in general it's something that is fleeting. What you can do with your own knowledge by going back and rebuilding, you could make your 10 million a lot quicker, first of all, but then also what you go back with the knowledge of is not just monetary knowledge. It's knowledge of things like, oh, I can get more time with my grandfather. Oh, I know what these things are valuable that are so much more valuable than $10 million. So I'd toss the 10 million and go back to 6 in a heartbeat.
Well, we've done this entire episode was one entire bit of what I'm about to over emote upon, but screw it. It's time for shameless self promotion. Mama Meg, I'll let you take this one. Tell the people about Inside the Cabin.
Inside the Cabin is now proudly brought to you by Scarfire Records on all streaming platforms and on Bandcamp. Find Inside the Cabin by simply looking up Moonshine Vagabonds. Moonshine like the liquor, Vagabonds like the traveler. The album is called Inside the Cabin. We've got 8 amazing tracks on your favorite streaming platforms. Also, make sure that you get your happy little butts. We got not 1, but 2 album release parties coming out. One for our Pittsburgh fam and one for the people down in Nashville. April 4th, we are at Antonio's. I think you should be there now if you're listening. I don't know times. One straight day. Anyway, and then we're going to be in Nashville on April 17th for Drifters. That's a 7 to 9 in Pittsburgh, 6 to 9 in Nashville. 2 nights inside the cabin. So listen to the album on your way to the gig and come with us.
And I believe by that point we'll have a physical media for that as well, Megan.
I didn't say that. I said we're going to try.
Right. Well, speaking of physical media and all types of media, Spade Creative is doing gangbusters, not merely in the recording space, but the podcast space. What's going on over there, and where can we find it, Jack?
Yeah, so I run several companies. Spade Creative is my baby. That's the one that I love. It's basically a multimedia production company right here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can find us at spadecreative.org. I do that by day, and then software engineering by night. We're about to drop a plugin for producers to make it so that anybody in the world is able to actually have their own drum sampler, whereas right now they're all very expensive to purchase. We're going to give it away for free and make it so that bedroom producers alike can all have amazing drum sounds. We're doing that, and then also I have a company called Alignment that does fiscal sponsor software for nonprofits and just makes so they can keep their donor dollars in the field and do great work. So the way that I look at it is whatever I can do to help people in the world, that's what I want to be doing. And that goes from the artist space all the way to the nonprofit space, whatever it is that we can do.
Well, you're definitely a light, and I think this record is certainly a living endorsement of that. And let me just say to both of you, I'm pretty sure that I could have gotten to a record without the two of you, but I'm so proud of this record, and I don't think I would have had nearly as much fun making a record without the two of you. So I'm so grateful that we all came together and made this. Can we just all dance in our chairs for a second? We got a record. We got a record. We got a record. Yay!
Like it, right? We do. It's so good. It's so good too. I want to be tapped for a minute. I have a couple people that I send the music to when I make it to kind of see where we're at and see if it's worth it. And I was in my fields and I messaged my friend Ray. I looked for certain. And I said, Ray, what about this album? It's just so much better than anything I put out before. Like, what was I missing? Explain this to me because I don't understand. And aside from explaining the nerdy parts about the better mics, better chords, and all that, it was mentioned that it's for the first time in my career, it's reflecting that I'm finally working with people who are within my wheelhouse. And I would extend that by saying that for the first time in my career, I'm working with people who I feel I'm not at that level yet. So I'm finally working with people. Actually, that's a lie. I haven't felt that way since I was 19 when I got to work with Ray and Mad Hands. So the fact that I'm getting to challenge myself, I'm getting to push myself into new avenues, I'm getting to do all these new things, like it's been a long time since I felt like I was on track, long before the breakup. So, like, to the both of you and to everybody involved in this album, I cannot thank you guys enough for bringing old Megan back.
Well, Megan, I've always said it to anybody who are listening. I've always believed you're a star, and it's great to see that you believe you're a star again. I'm so proud of you, especially for this. And
Well, I'm proud of you too.
Dallas Jack, Megan Pennington, thank you once again for joining me here today on the Craig-Veltri Interview.
Thank you for having us, man.
The Craig-Veltri Interview, where Craig-Veltri interviews wonderful people, is a production of Scarfire Media, the voice of the independent artist. Written and edited by Craig-Veltri. Your announcer is Megan Pennington. The opening theme, Shut Up, I Love You, written by Trenton Chandler and Craig-Veltri, performed by Craig-Veltri, produced by Jack Gavin. Inside the Cabin, as you may have heard a couple of times already, is available now on all streaming. Support Moonshine Vagabonds by downloading direct from bandcamp.com. Time now to update the event calendar because you must know where I am at all times. Megan, too. On April 3rd, Megan and I will be at Heist Spirits in Burgettstown, Pennsylvania from 6 to 9 p.m. And then the Pittsburgh album release party, April 4th, Antonio's Pizzeria in Brookline from 7 to 9 p.m. And if you are listening in the Nashville area, Megan and I are coming with reinforcements. It's going to be a full band show at Drifters Tennessee Barbecue in East Nashville on April the 17th, Friday, April the 17th, from 6 to 9 p.m. Central Time. For full dates, including Pittsburgh, New York City, Myrtle Beach, and coming soon to Atlanta, visit my website, craig-veltri.bandzoogle.com. For booking info, including full band and this podcast, email me at craig-veltri@gmail.com. You can find the interview on Facebook by searching the Craig-Veltri Interview, YouTube at Craig-Veltri Music, and you can find me on Instagram, or as my old roommate, the Tommy Thomas, used to call it, Instagirl, at craig.veltri. For Dallas Jack and Megan Pennington, I'm Craig-Veltri, and this has been the Craig-Veltri Interview. With that, I'll pass. You ought not done that. You made me and Megan mad. It's the title track off Moonshine Vagabonds' debut album. It's Inside the Cabin on the Craig-Veltri Interview. More proud than ever, a member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network.